Hey everybody, Kristine Mirelle here. I'm making this because I am doing this amazing month here where I'm performing 30 shows in 30 days. And these aren't normal shows, these are 30 paid shows. If you know me, I am all about doing what you love and getting paid to do it. So there's a lot of people out there that are trying to get popular, trying to get Instagram likes and YouTube likes, but I am such an advocate for who cares about being popular? It's important to get paid, right? So if you got groceries to buy, you got rent to pay, you got car payments, you should be using your talent to make money. So that's, if you know me, you know that's what I'm all about. So this month I have booked 30 shows at about 7 or 8 different casinos here in Vegas, and really exciting. Everything from performing by myself to with my band. And if you know me, you also know that I love to show other people how to do what they love for a living too. So if you're a singer, you're a musician, you're a band, you're even a rapper, you can be doing this. A DJ, I've worked with DJs, you can be doing this. And I wanted to talk about something that's really important today because I haven't really touched on this so much, but I honestly think this is the most important, like, finishing touches to being able to book stuff like this. So when I tell people, you know, I booked 30 shows in 30 days, they go, how did you do that? So obviously, you know, you got to have your good show together and you got to have talent, you know, you got to do those types of things. But one really important thing is relationships. I've talked about being able to find good agents, being able to find good partners and all this kind of good stuff. But even if you have an agent, even if you have a manager, even if you have, you know, different people that are working for you, or let's say you've performed at casinos already, that doesn't mean they're going to call you back. That doesn't mean they're going to ask you to come back over and over again. So for myself, the way that I booked 30 shows in 30 days, it's not like I went from having 0 shows to suddenly having 30 shows in 30 days. This is time that where I've nurtured relationships with agents, casinos. I have made sure that when I perform at a place, on my breaks, I talk with people. I go and make sure everyone's happy. I ask and see if people have any requests. You know, I go talk to the staff. You know, I've mentioned this in a previous video that it is very important that, you know, if there's like waiters and waitresses and bartenders and that sort of stuff, make friends with them, because at the end of the day, they'll let management know if they like you and if they want you to come back. So those are like really, really key things. You got to put on a really great show. I know some people that, you know, go and perform and they just kind of, if they're having a bad day, they just kind of half-ass it, you know, that's what they do. And they don't, you know, walk the extra mile to make sure that people are excited. And even on my bad days, you know, where I just don't, you know, maybe I'm tired or maybe I got a big headache or whatever it is, I still walk around and make sure that people are happy. And after I make sure, you know, I make sure people are happy, I make sure to learn new songs. I'm always learning new songs. So if people request a song that I don't know, well, you know what, I go home and I learn it so that the next time someone requests it, I know the song. I interact with the crowd a lot, so I'll talk to people. I ask them where they're from. You know, I get to know them. I make jokes with them. I'll go out into the audience and dance with people. There's a lot of really little things that really add up. And I think it's just always understanding that you're never like the best at what you do. There's always room for you to grow. There's always room for you to become better, you know, at what you do. So I mean, the really big, like if I were to write down, you know, the steps on how I did this, you know, and again, if you watch some of my videos, some of you already know this, but one, you're going to put together your show. You know, you got to have all these great songs that people love and recognize and that they hear. You know, if you have a band, then you put together a really awesome band, you know, and then you start researching venues in your area. You start reaching out to those venues. You put together a great video. You send them an awesome video of you performing so that they get an idea of what you do exactly. And then, you know, you start booking at those venues and you go out of your way to make sure that they're happy with you. So even when I go perform on my break, I'll go ask management, hey, is it too loud? Is it too soft? Do you want me to pick it up a bit? You know, do you want me to play softer? What do you want? Because then they know that I care, you know. So a lot of it is creating those relationships. So again, with the people that are watching, with the management, with your agents, you know, if you're going to research agents in your area, make sure that you're showing up to all the gigs. You know, if they're reaching out to you and going, hey, management said you were late, well, that agent is going to be hesitant to book you again, and that venue probably doesn't want to book you again either. Or maybe you're taking too long of breaks, or maybe you showed up and, you know, you forgot your instrument, or your band hasn't been rehearsing, so you guys suck. You know, like there's a lot of factors here At the end of the day, those relationships are the most important things. And guys, I've made mistakes as well where I forgot I had a gig. That's happened to me where I just didn't show up because I have a lot of shows booked, and one day I just didn't have it in my calendar. And you know what I do? I offer to that venue, I'll do a show for free. Or if an agent booked it for me, I'll do a show for free. Because I know that even though I might lose money that day, I know that in the long run, I need to keep those relationships with the agencies. I need to keep the relationships with the managers at these venues. I need those venues to want me to come back. And I need to keep my reputation as one where people know that they can depend on me to put on a good show and to show up. So that is a big one. There are a lot of talented people out there, and this is a common thing. There's a lot of talented people that don't show up, or they show up late. And I'm going to tell you this, when I book my musicians, sometimes I have the most amazing musicians that I perform with, and I'm very blessed. I have really incredible, great band members that I perform with all the time. But I have stopped hiring certain musicians, not based on their talent, but based on either their attitudes or their punctuality, where they didn't show up, and that sort of thing too. Those things are very important. And sometimes you just being a kind person, you showing up on time, being dressed appropriately, always make sure that you're dressed nice, putting on a good, presentation of yourself. If someone's always showing up in jeans and a t-shirt, I don't want them in my band, because that represents me, and that represents us, and it's going to affect our ability to get hired. So again, when I break down how I book these 30 shows in 30 days, there's not one way. There's me having a great show. There's me making sure to show up on time and dressing nice, looking my best, making sure to have relationships with everybody there, from the staff to the management. If an agent booked me, I make sure to show up to all my gigs 30 minutes before. I am never just on time. I'm always early, and I always bring more than what they ask of me. So I'll put on a great show. If the audience is dancing and singing, I won't even take a break. I'll just keep performing, because I know that I have a great time, and my audience, if they're having a great time, then I know the management and the venues, everybody's really excited, and they're going to ask me to come back. So that's how I booked my 30 shows in 30 days. These are all relationships with casinos, agents, staff, everybody that I've built over time. Those are important, so keep those. If you would like to learn more about how you can book paid shows and do what I'm doing, which took me a long time to figure out, if you know my story, then I want you to just check the description, and you can see how we can start up a conversation and get you started. And I want to leave with one other thing, because I did get an email the other day where someone's like, it's easy for you to book gigs because you're a girl, because you look this certain way. And if you've been on any of my webinars, you know that I've posted this picture here of me, and that was when I was homeless. I was actually homeless. I had no home. I barely had a car. I was sleeping on a stranger's couch that I had met on couchsurfing.com. For 8 years, I did not know how to book gigs. I lived out of a suitcase and couchsurfing.com. So I stayed on strangers' couches. I did not know how to book gigs, and I was very cute in that picture, so you cannot deny how cute I am. So I was not able to book gigs. There's a very big difference with having talent. I was very talented, and knowing how to book gigs. Those are two completely different skills. Those are not the same. And just because you're cute doesn't mean that you're going to be making money. Not in this business. That's not how it works. Because then there's this picture when I was 8 months pregnant, where I look like freaking Penguin from Batman, and all the weight here and my little arms. And I was performing 5 nights a week. I was still traveling up until I couldn't travel anymore physically because of my pregnancy. I was making, that night, I was telling her I made $700 just that night at that one casino performing. And I was making plenty of money. So it's not about how you look, and it's not even about your talent. Yes, you do have to have talent. But having talent doesn't mean that you're going to have shows. And being cute doesn't mean that you're going to have shows. Those are two completely different things. For you to know how to book shows and know how to do these types of things, it takes a different type of mindset. So check the description, and let's chat. If you're a singer, musician, a band, or a rapper, and you want to get started doing this, let's go.